Xiao Hui and Yulan were crammed into a dilapidated room with a monthly rent of 15 yuan. The air was thick with the smell of mildew, but what Xiao Hui smelled was opportunity. She planned to make shirts with only collars, a low-cost product that could satisfy city dwellers' desire to keep up appearances. They set up a street stall using a flatbed cart. Business had just begun when trouble arrived. A man in neighborhood management uniform, an old foe from Xiao Hui's factory days, showed up, citing illegal street vending. He demanded a fine of 500 yuan, enough to crush their budding entrepreneurial dream. A conflict erupted. The inspector, settling a personal grudge, grabbed their cart and refused to let go. Just then, a woman dragging a suitcase rushed into the crowd. It was Yaji, their sister and the factory director's daughter. She flung out a document stamped with a bright red seal. A business license? Yaji had anticipated their troubles and completed all the paperwork in advance. Her arrival not only resolved the crisis, but also introduced a new variable. Tired of the toxic politics at the factory, she had quit decisively, ready to venture out with her sisters. A formidable entrepreneurial trio was formed. Xiao Hui provided capital and ideas, pawning her mother's ring as seed money. Yaji leveraged her father's connections to secure supply channels. The meticulous Yulan took charge of the accounts. Their brand was named Kyoxin Fashion. The store opened, but reality hit hard. In the first 3 days, they sold only one pair of cotton long johns, making a net profit of 2 yuan, not even enough for breakfast. The most critical blow, they had no money left to restock. In desperation, Xiao Hui's tenacity kicked in. She transformed old fabric scraps from the warehouse through embroidery and patchwork, turning discarded clothes into something magical. It was then that they discovered Yulan's hidden skill. This quiet girl came from a family in the funeral business and had been applying makeup to the deceased since childhood. Her makeup technique was professional and flawless. A brand new marketing idea took shape in Xiao Hui's mind. The next day, a crowd gathered outside the store. With music blaring from a secondhand tape recorder, Xiao Hui announced the arrival of Miss Hong Kong Mary. Under everyone's gaze, Yaji, exquisitely made up and wearing upcycled fashion, made a dazzling appearance. Her portrayal of Mary was a walking advertisement. Captivated by the novel styles and trendy makeup, the crowd swarmed into the store. With just a few old fabrics and a tape recorder, they set off a fashion storm in Changsha. Business boomed and big orders followed. A client demanded 600 swimsuits within a month. It was a huge opportunity and an equally huge challenge. With only 3 people and 6 hands, it was impossible. To scale up, they needed to hire workers and buy machines, all requiring money. Xiao Hui thought of someone, Chen Wangshu, the boss S of Yuan Wang Company. Her boldness had once left an impression on him. This time, she marched alone into Chen's office, aiming to secure his investment. Her confidence and courage won over the business tycoon. Chen Wangshu finally agreed, and the funds arrived. Now, hiring became the new challenge. How could a newly established workshop in a shabby room earn anyone's trust? Xiao Hui came up with another idea, borrowing influence. She invited investor Chen Wangshu to the recruitment site. This entrepreneur, frequently featured in newspapers, was the most credible endorsement. Xiao Hui called him the guardian deity. With him present, a small temple could become a treasure haul. Sure enough, when workers saw Chen Wangshu, their doubts vanished and they lined up to apply. However, just as the business was thriving, Yulan's nightmare caught up with her in Changsha. Her husband, Zhou Baosheng, a crude village ruffian, showed up. Fortunately, Chen Wangshu subdued him, but Zhou Baosheng didn't give up. He loitered in the store, harassed female workers, sabotaged business, and vowed not to leave until he saw Yulan. The entire factory's production schedule was stalled because of him. Xiao Hui decided to take the initiative. Pretending to yield, she lured Zhou Baosheng to a restaurant where she and Yaji took turns plying him with alcohol. At the table, Zhou Baosheng about how he beat and abused Yulan, his words filthy and vile. He didn't realize that every word was digging his own grave. When he passed out drunk, the 3 women dragged him into an alley and bound him tightly with rope. Long suppressed rage erupted in that moment. They gave this scoundrel a lesson he would never forget, in the most direct way. They thought driving away the plague would return things to normal, but they underestimated Zhou Baosheng's stubbornness and spite. He disappeared for a few days, but had actually been secretly stalking them. Eventually, he found their residence. While Xiao Hui and Yaji were away, he cornered Yulan, who was alone at home, intending to drag her back to the mountains. Meanwhile, Xiao Hui and the others at the store sensed something was wrong and rushed home, only to find Yulan gone. Yulan fled into an alley, with Zhou Baosheng in pursuit. He picked up a brick, ready to break her legs. At the critical moment, Xiao Hui and Chen Wangshu arrived and stopped the violence. Still defiant, Zhou Baosheng pulled out Yulan's deed of sale, claiming she was an object he had bought. Just then, Yaji arrived with the police. Facing the officers, Zhou Baosheng continued to rant until cold handcuffs silenced him. In the eyes of the law, a contract for human trafficking was nothing but worthless paper. Under everyone's gaze, Yulan looked directly at the man for the first time and declared, word by word, "I'm not a thing of the Zhou family. My name is Zhao Yulan." It was not only a farewell to the past, but also the rebirth of an independent woman. They used a sewing machine to defy an old era. With a few fabric scraps, they stitched together their lives. And this was only the beginning.